Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. This is another piece of green wood, or at least it used to be green about 5 years ago. At that time I turned it into a cylinder and put tenons on it and drilled out the two pieces and then put them back together, wrapped it with masking tape. I don't know what I was thinking about for that, and let them dry. Now that they are bone dry, it's time to finish turning them. I hope that I can salvage them because I probably drilled the holes just a little bit too big, not leaving quite enough wall for what should be a box size. So this is cherry, bone dry, was green. Let's see if it survives. Actually, the masking tape was intended to keep the two pieces together while they dried. It did nothing for the drying process. Now I need to deal with the warpage. This first piece is small enough to fit in my chuck jaws and centered by the original live center divot. I need to trim the tenon. Then I'm reversing it into a proper hold in the chuck. Then some cleanup on the exterior to clean up the warpage. To clean up the interior, I first use a Forstner bit to take out some of the wood because I'm worried about the distortion. Then I clean up the rest with a box scraper before sanding the interior. I probably should have skipped the drill bit and stuck with the scraper. The other section has a humongous bark inclusion that I did not see before. I soaked it with CA glue and packed the voids with sawdust. This section I've mounted using the original drive center marks and a Cove live center. Same treatment as the first section. Trim the tenon, mount it to the chuck, clean up the exterior, drill out the center, and clean up with a box scraper. I'm not going to show the threading process in this video. I'm still working out the kinks and how best to video my second lathe. So please refer to my threading jig video. This time I'm only targeting cutting 3 threads. I wound up with 5, but I'm working to reduce the thread count. Now that the female threads are cut, I need to clean up a couple of things. I need to cut a groove behind the threads to allow room for the mating threads. I'm experimenting with a captive ring scraper, but it does not seem to work well. Too small. I switched to a box scraper with the lathe in reverse. This cut an acceptable but not traditional groove. Then I cleaned up the threads and applied wax to the threads and to the box interior. Now for the male threads. Yes, there is a mathematical way to measure these, but I'd rather get close but still large. Sneaking up with the cutter works for me. For now, I need a tenon for the threads with a groove for the cutter to end it. Now I'm back from threading. I'm cleaning up the groove behind the threads since the cutter made some marks that I need to remove. Next, I need to chamfer off the leading threads just a smidgen. My grain match is way off between wood removal and the threading. I'm scraping some wood off the front edge to allow a little more rotation. After a couple of tries, it's the best match I can do. Now with the sections joined together, I'll turn them together to even out the last wobbles. In the original green turning, I hollowed out the 2 ends too deep, but that was 5 years ago and I can't put the wood back. Actually, now I have very little leeway for shaping. I figure my only possible design is to forget the upright box concept. I think I'll go for a pod look. I round over the ends and let it lie on its side. Since it is threaded, there will be no problem with it coming apart. To disguise the joint, I'm cutting a V-groove at the joint and just a little distance away, then sand it thoroughly. I'm finishing the pod with brushing lacquer, however my shop is very warm. The lacquer dried too quickly, and I'll have to sand it back and reapply lacquer. I'll use rattle can lacquer. I'm mounting the remaining section directly to the chuck over the threads. Technically, I should cut another set of threads for a jam chuck, but this will do while I run over this end. After sanding, I'm applying brushing lacquer with slightly better results. I'll still sand this back and apply rattle can lacquer before a final buffing. This pod, being threaded, does not have to stand up, so I plan to do more pods. I'm refining my threading. I am liking how it turns out. Cherry is a lovely wood. I should have turned this years ago. This pod was fun. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video. Please wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.